Balochistan. Salutes to those who are resisting a brutal military occupation. Salutes to everyone in Balochistan. Salutes to our brothers. Salutes to our sisters. Salutes to our sons and salutes to our daughters. We are facing a terrible situation in Balochistan, as you could see from the developments of Monday. On Monday, what has happened is an eye-opener for the world. And on Monday, the whole world saw that the Pakistan army is bereft of any morality, any ethics, any humanism. An army doesn't understand the values of basic human rights, the values that govern civil societies. Pakistan, Pakistan is a country which has for 70 years the same military which has been ruling there is calling the shots. We saw that when they dismissed their prime minister 2, 3 months ago. It's a failed state. It has got no future. This state relies on the military and the ISI to run the country of more than 180 million people. We Baloch have been trapped here. As legendary Baja Khan had said when he came to know that India has given up the Pashtunkhwa region to Pakistan, and he complained to Nehru that you have thrown us to the wolves. So the Baloch have been thrown to the wolves for 7 decades as a dark and dreary night. It's a cold, dark, and dreary night for the people of Balochistan. The people are struggling. It is so shameless, so cowardly of the Pakistan army to target women and babies. 4 babies have been abducted by the Pakistan army. Can you imagine what they do have to, what they do have to, what they have to do with the babies in Balochistan? What are the fault of these babies of Balochistan? We are calling for justice for the people of Balochistan. These babies deserve to be treated with compassion, with humanism, with respect, but they are violating our basic human dignity. They are doing it every day. The Pakistan army military boots on the heads of the Baloch people is unacceptable to more than 30 million Baloch people on earth. We are demanding that we be treated as human beings. We, we are demanding of the Pakistan army and the intelligence agencies to respect the Geneva Conventions in Balochistan. We are asking them the laws of war in Balochistan. They have no right to do what they are doing there. It all began when the Pakistan army wanted to show that everything is hunky-dory in Balochistan. They wanted to tell the world, and especially to their masters in China, that everything is well in Balochistan. And they launched that motor rally on October 21. And General Bajwa said that he wants to project a soft image of Pakistan. How can you project a soft image of Pakistan when your military side runs the country as if they own the country? This Pakistan is a strange place where the army owns the country. You have countries that have armies. Pakistan is a strange story where the army has a country. So we are not part of that country, we Baloch. We, more than 40% of the landmass of that country, we are not a part of Pakistan. We are different. We have said that very clearly from day one. And we are going to say that until the last Baloch, we are not going to surrender. We are going to continue our struggle. I had told yesterday at an event here in Washington, D.C., where they were talking about opportunities from Pakistan, from Army General of the U.S. Army, General David Lute, who was also ambassador to Afghanistan. And also there was a U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Zalmay Khalilzad. And I said very clearly, what is this talk about opportunity of Pakistan? Pakistan has got no opportunity to offer for the free world and those who respect human rights and human dignity. Pakistan general believe that the U.S. Soldiers in Afghanistan are chocolate boys who can be defeated by the Taliban in Pakistan. With such a mindset, how can there ever be peace in Afghanistan? I said that the Pakistan army generals have turned the Afghans and have turned the Baloch as if we were flies and ants. And I said very clearly not to expect any good from Pakistan because Pakistan's hands are red with the blood of 2,400, more than 2,400 US troops based in Afghanistan. So Pakistan Army and
2,400.
ISI are directly responsible American troops in Afghanistan, more than 2,400. And the world saw where the terror mastermind bin Laden was hiding. He was hiding next door to the West Point in Pakistan. So these Pakistani generals have a strange mindset. They think they are the Khalid bin Walids of the present day. They must forget Khalid bin Walids of the present day. They had forgotten that lessons that they were taught at the Paltan Maidan in Bangladesh when they had to surrender. And I salute the Parsi general, Parsi Field Marshal Sam Manakshaw. I salute the Sixth General, General Arora. I salute the Jewish General, General David, who had led the Indian armed forces and to whom the Pakistani jihadi generals had surrendered. And today is a time for India to think. We people in Balochistan are thinking, where is our Indira Gandhi? Where is our Field Marshal Manak Shah? We are asking, we are asking of India not to forget us. I'm not looking towards the West. I'm looking towards the East. I'm looking towards our friends in India. Please don't forget us. It is your role to play. You are not playing your role responsibly. Please, you have promised us. We have great faith in Prime Minister Narendra Modi. You are our father. We are today facing this, and look what Pakistan army is doing to us. Had these, have these, has these jihadis, has any jihadi been killed in Kashmir like this? Have their babies been abducted? These would have been out on the streets in Karachi, in Lahore, in Islamabad, and the Pakistani media would have been shouting day and night. And I am not seeing that response from India, and I am very saddened. I'm calling upon my Indian friends to please rise up to the defense of your Baloch brothers and sisters, for we are the sons and daughters of Hinglaj Mata. Today is your time to come to our rescue. Please don't turn your face away from us. It is your responsibility. It is your historic responsibility. It is your religious duty to come to the rescue of the sons and daughters of Hinglaj Mata. We are your own. We are your blood and bone. We are not different from you. I am urging you, please. Today is not the time to think about diplomacy, for we are a part of your great family. Please don't regard as foreigners. We are not aliens. You have to come. This is a limit to everything. There is a limit to everything. You are these cowardly soldiers of Pakistan. They are taking away our daughters and they are taking away our babies. This is a limit to atrocities. They are doing the same thing they did in the East Pakistan, which is today Bangladesh. I am confident the brave sons of Balochistan, the brave tigers of Makran, the brave tigers of Kharan, the brave tigers of Awaran, the brave tigers of Dera Bukti, the brave tigers of Kolu will not take this insult lightly. We are going to challenge these generals who are playing with the honor of our women, of the honor of our daughters. We are not going to let them to live in peace. Each and every Baloch today has the duty to resist the oppressor. Today, it is our duty to fight the oppressor with whatever means we have. We are calling upon the civilized world to come to our rescue. We are calling upon the Western powers to come to our rescue. We are calling upon our brothers in Afghanistan not to be afraid of Pakistan. We are calling upon our brave brothers with whom we are related, our Pashtun brothers, our Sindhi brothers, to rise up to this Begarat, this shameless army of Pakistan who knows no who have no decency. They don't have a single decent bone in their bodies. They are I don't know what they are. I don't know what to call them. I can only say that they are bereft of humanism. They are bereft of morality. They lack human decency. They think they are going to be again the Khalid bin Walid. You living in? Wake up! This is the this is the this is the this is the era of Twitter. This is the era of Facebook. What are you guys doing? Anyways, friends, I am very emotional tonight because of the situation in Balochistan. Thank you. Thank you. We'll talk later. Bye.
Thank you, Amarji. That was indeed an emotional moment for all of us. That these cowards, Pakistani journalists, they have abducted innocent children and women who has nothing to do with politics, with any of the war which has been going in Balochistan. So these journalists can't do anything to our freedom fighters. They know they are losing in Balochistan, and that's a shame for them. They are frustrated, and that shows how frustrated the Pakistani military is. They cannot defeat those brave Baloch soldiers who are not, who doesn't have any resources, who doesn't have anything but fighting with a very limited available local sources, and they have given the toughest time to
What?
Pakistani
I'm going.
soldiers, Pakistani journalists, and that shows the frustration of Pakistani army, that they have abducted the families of Baloch soldiers and Baloch freedom fighters. So I'm I'm a Pashtun, and from Balochistan. I feel exactly the same pain as every other Baloch witnessing today. And I request all my Pashtun brothers and sisters to rise, to stand up with Baloch brothers and sisters, shoulder to shoulder, and protest in whatever capacity they can, and help the Baloch brothers in whatever capacity they can, because this is the time to show those shameless journals, those business-minded journals, because they don't have any morality. They don't do anything with the defense, with the country. They just run the country as a corporation, and everybody know that Pakistani soldiers doesn't run this country. They take this as a business. They run businesses from steel, cement, scratch, and everything. They just run the business as a property. So these journals are the most corrupt journals. I request all Pashtun brothers and sisters to please come forward. Do not do not scare from these coward soldiers, from the coward journals. They can't do anything to us if we stay united, if we show them the strength of unity with Baloch brothers and sisters. Yes, I'm indeed very emotional as well. Since last 2 days, since I heard that these coward journals have abducted innocent Baloch women from different cities, including the family of Dr. Akhtar and Dr. Ustad Salam. And yeah, please, Inayat, if you want to contribute something into this. Um, and if, yeah, exactly at the same time, I request all international humanitarian organizations to please come to rescue all those Baloch innocent women and children, and as well as all those missing persons which are still dead in the torture cells of Pakistani intelligence agency and Pakistani military. All humanitarian organizations have to speak. That's their moral duty, and we respect the U.S. Congress to please help and rescue all Baloch soldiers, our Baloch women and children, and everybody who is suffering in the hands of Pakistani covered journals and military. Thank you very much. And can you please put your opinion here?
And I will say we should not, leave any people in here in United States. Request those people they are from here to send the letter to their congressmen.
Hmm.
And in this time, this is the hard season. Hard season mean in this current governments they really want one opportunity to shut down everything from the Pakistan.
Hmm.
And current um, um, the foreign secretary and also now in current administration has a really good thought about the Pakistan. We have to install in Afghanistan fully India. If we let the Pakistan go back in Afghanistan, it will not be good for the Pashtun. It will not good be for the Baloch. It will not good be for the United States either. If you see last since 2006 till now, how much money Pakistan got from United States, where they all went. They all went in the hand of the Taliban, and they used it against those Pashtun which were against the Pakistan, and it went against those people who are against the Pakistani government in here in Balochistan, against Baloch, and it also went against the United States governments. That's why in currently I know we have the hard time. The Allah Nazar family is now kidnapped. Najib, remember, it will not be only Baloch. Soon and later they will start picking the female of the Pashtuns too.
Exactly what they exactly did in
We
Bangladesh.
should not stop.
Yes,
We should not wait for their day.
yes. They have
And
been
our
what they did in
Pashtun, we need
Karachi,
them.
in Sindh. They did in Bangladesh. They have the worst humanitarian, criminal history. Pakistani army has the worst criminal history. They raped their own more than 100,000 women in Bangladesh, their own civilians, their own citizens. And this is the only country who is bombing, who is running jets, who has used tanks and every possible weapon they have against their own citizens. That's I don't see any other example in the world that established army, a nuclear power army, is using jets against their own civilians. That's a shame. That's a absolutely
And
shame.
Najib, one example you see, we both seen it in Quetta. Whose are the kids? Those come in at the early morning and knock your door. Those are Afghanis orphans. They are orphaned from the Afghanistan.
Absolutely.
We both seen them.
Exactly.
How much we put the Afghani population in a hell of the Pakistan. There is no need for that. This is the time United States is support of the Afghanistan prosperity, and we should support it. And India is putting his all energy in Afghanistan to make sure that Afghanistan will be prosperous again. And also
Yeah.
in this area, in this
Absolutely.
region, if we Baloch in Afghan and Sindhi, we keep united, and India will help us, and the Pakistan will not have a space in that region. Zero
Exactly.
space he will get in that regions. If we Baloch, Pashtun, and Sindhi will be united, because India does not have a space and come to fight for us. No, he will support us morally. And in Afghanistan, and I think Ahmar and in our this group should request the United States governments to train the Baloch youth in Afghanistan,
I mean,
train the
that's
Baloch
that.
youth and Pashtun youth which are
Yeah.
from Balochistan. They should give them a military training.
That's a very advanced level request. Right now, we request all humanitarian organizations, every country who has any humanitarian approach to the world, They should speak for the innocent Baloch women and children who are in the captivity of Pakistani coward army. At the same time, we request United Nations, United States, European Union to please speak for the Baloch, speak for the Baloch people who are been suffering in the hands of Pakistani army. So in the first place, and absolutely we request the entire world to accept the self-determination right of
Hello.
Balochistan, of Baloch people, which is indeed a legitimate right of Baloch people. Yes, we don't want to fight with any country, with anyone. We want peace. We are peaceful people. We are peace-loving people. We want to live with peace, and we want everybody to live with peace and prosperous on their own resources. But at the same time, we cannot let anybody to occupy our resources and sell it on pennies to their own friends like China or whatever. So we know how to defend our resources, our land, and we have been doing this for thousands of years. So these Punjabis, if they have thought that they can come easily occupy us, they can kill our innocent children and women. So that they are wrong about it. They have to know that we have defended our land for thousands of years, and we know how to defend it. But if they want to go in the war, we request everybody, we request the entire international community to jump into this matter and peacefully resolve the Balochistan issue, which is indeed an international issue. Balochistan had been an independent country. Pakistan has forcefully occupied it. They have killed thousands of innocent Baloch. So that's enough. Enough is enough. They have crossed all the limits. Now the international community has to speak for the Baloch people. That is their international obligation. They have to. So we request the United Nations, we request the US government to speak for the Baloch people. I guess Krishna is with us. Krishna, Krishna, do you hear me? I can't hear you. Your mic is off. Krishna, your mic is off. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Yep. Nice.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Krishna. Have you heard that Dr. Al Nazar wife and his and their adopted child has been kidnapped by the Pakistani forces from Quetta since they were there for medical treatment. And do you know about that? Do you hear something about that?
Yes. Yes. Pakistan has stooped to the most lowest of low now. I have been seeing Pakistan's acts in Kashmir, in Afghanistan, in Middle East, everywhere. Pakistan has been creating terrorist proxies and sending them. Everyone knows. And now Pakistan says they themselves are the victim of terrorism. If that is the case, I urge all the global powers to help Pakistan get into Pakistan and help them and get in and wipe the terrorists, since Pakistan can't do it themselves. And with the abduction of the women and children, the wife of the free Baloch leaders, like Dr. Allah Nazar, who represents the aspirations of middle class Balochistan people and the new rising aspirations in Balochistan towards self-determination of what is going on in their land, and not by Chinese uh, colonization of the land, of the riches of the land. The free Baloch loving people and the middle class people and of all kinds are now enraged uh, that their leader, that their movement is being targeted by women and children who are innocent, who don't know anything. Pakistan, you have stooped to the lowest. It shows your cowardness and not ability and inability to engage the real threats, which is yourself. The real threat of Pakistan is not the people of Pakistan, but yourself, which is the army and then the controlling authorities. So unless the people of Pakistan rise against their own establishment, which is not allowing them to be free, including the people of Balochistan, uh, the Pakistan will continue to be the place of terrorism. The proxies continue to act as proxies for other countries, and the people of Pakistan are allowing this to happen. So that is not good at all for the development. Uh, Prime Minister Modi has challenged in one of his videos, asking to compete with India on development and success, and hopefully Pakistan people, the people of Pakistan, take this as a challenge and rise up and dismantle the power structures that is there, which hasn't been working, which is only working to help further the cause of terrorist ideology. Uh, and this is the reason why Pakistan is not able to win on any fronts. They have been isolated in the SARC, isolated from US now. The very people who were supporting them can't support them anymore, overtly or covertly anymore. So it's time, if the people of Pakistan want a beautiful Pakistan, you rise up against your own authorities who have an ideology based, not development based. So come compete with India on a development matter and be successful and make a happier place. Otherwise, and let the Baloch people who have always been fighting for freedom, who never wanted to be with Pakistan, have the right to self-determination. You could do this by force and it'll never work. And every 50 years, the contours of countries have been changing. It can only be said in a wise manner, but Balochistan leaders will all unite, irrespective of what their opinions are, and they will put up a strong fight and show their determination and their love for their national uh, fervor, which is Balochistan. And the current abduction of the women and children of various Baloch leaders doesn't destroy the or delimit or the fervor of the Balochistan people, but in fact it reinvigorates, re-strengthens the unity of all the Baloch leaders to fight and unite together. And this will be raised diplomatically, human rights, uh, and on the land in various manners. So it's time, Pakistan, you realize and try to course correct to ensure the happiness of all of your people. Or you could continue your terrorist ideology and you yourself bring your own destruction. I'm sorry to say that.
I will say something here, Najib.
Yeah, please. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now I
Nice.
can hear you.
Yeah.
I have to
Very
keep
nice.
the phone close to my ear, then I can hear you.
Very
But
nice.
are
But
We
you?
you
can see you,
uh,
Ahmad.
can you on
Can
your
you
video,
see
please?
my face or not? Or no?
No, but no, it's
You
fine.
see
We
my
see your
face?
picture. You can just go ahead and
Okay,
say. All
okay.
right.
You are sick
Mhm.
of seeing my face already. Okay. You see,
No, we love your
I
face.
will say a few things here. Number
Mhm.
one is Pakistan is a renter state. It is has always been a renter state, and it has been a renter state of the United States. But it did not pay its rent in an honest way.
Mhm.
I mean, it was a renter state of the United States, but it provided safe sanctuary to the worst enemy of the United States, next door to its West Point. It had been a renter state of Saudi Arabia, trying to play the Saudi proxy game in the whole region. Also, now it is the renter state of China. Pakistan is a renter state of China right now. And you know that they were trying to tell the Chinese everything is very good in Balochistan. You know that, right?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had started this Pakistan Army motor rally from Punjab, and it went through South Waziristan. Pakistan, they had bred as an area to nurture terrorists to send into the neighboring countries. First of all, they sent to India in 1947. Can you believe it? This Pakistani game started 1 week after Pakistan, after the partition Holocaust. Yeah, just 1 week after the Holocaust of 1947,
Hmm.
the Pakistan military embarked on what was called Operation Gulmarg to take over Kashmir from India. And that was launched just on August 20. Pakistan date of creation is August 14, and August 20, 1947, they formed that Operation Gulmarg. And the South Waziristan, they had recruited many people from that area. So this General Bajwa went to South Waziristan in Waziristan to project a soft image of Pakistan to the world. That was what they were trying to say. Then when this rally went near Turbat 2 days ago,
Hmm.
Monday, and then the Baloch militants showed to the world that the Baloch do not want the Chinese in Pakistan. The soft image was basically for Beijing, for the Chinese rulers. They see everything is fine in Pakistan, so bring in your investments. So the Baloch militants went ahead and attacked this motor rally, and then of course there was no news in the Pakistani media because the Pakistani media plays second fiddle Army, GHQ, and the ISI. The Pakistani media cannot say even one single word against the wishes of the Pakistan Army and ISI. So they just boycott, they just censored that news of the attack on that on that rally
Exactly.
by the Pakistan.
Which is exactly
Yeah,
expected.
yeah, and then what happens? You see, they had seem to have decided in advance what they will do. Happens. The GHQ had decided, the top generals, and so that is why within hours of that incident, they went ahead and abducted Fazila Baloch, the wife of Dr. Al Nazar, and his 4-year-old adopted daughter Popaljan. Now, this is, you see, this is, they have, as Krishna said, they have stooped to the lowest of the low. Now, I can tell you, we can expect anything from these guys because they have got no morality. They have got, you see, no decency. We saw it in 1971 in Bangladesh, what they did with the Bengali people. It is all on record. They had committed war crimes in Bangladesh. They are doing the same thing in Balochistan. In the
Exactly.
last 4 days, they had 4 babies. You see, 4 babies. Babies are those who are under 4 years old. So
Oh
four
my.
of these people who were abducted were 4 years old. There was this Aftab, son of Yunus Baloch, who was just 8 years old. There was this Ulfat, son of Altaf Baloch, who was just 13 years old, who were abducted from Karachi. Now they have, you see, they have broken all records of cruelty in Balochistan. There are laws of war. There are conventions when you have, when how to go about that. They have thrown all those conventions. Just less than 2 weeks ago, they were elected to the United Nations Human Rights Council. This has become a big joke, and you know why? Why Pakistan can do all this nonsense is because it supplies the Pakistani troops for on a very cheap rates to UN for peacekeeping. Now, how can these Pakistani troops be peacekeepers? They are the worst forms of violence seekers, as any Afghan knows, as any Baloch knows, as any peaceful Kashmir Pandit, the most civilized, most cultured, most educated community anywhere in the world, Kashmir Pandits. They know how bad, how they have been pushed out of their homes by these same very guys who are doing what they are doing in Balochistan. They are, you know what, they are treating our Baloch people just like these guys had treated the Jews of Medina when Islam was rising. They would go and kill Jews, and they would just, you see, the most brutal forms of they had exhibited at that time. The same thing they are doing, the same way that the ISIS is treating the Yazidis in Kurdistan and Iraq. That is the same way the Pakistan army is treating the Baloch people. So we are for facing an ISIS type jihadist army, which is, you see, very at the same time very cunning, very deceptive, very diplomatic. So we need the support, we need help of all goodwill people all over the world, especially those who understand how bad Pakistani ISI and military is. So we are relying. We hope that all these people who are sufferers of Pakistan violence, Pakistan's militancy, Pakistan's jihadism, will stand with us shoulder to shoulder and not allow this kind of bestiality that is happening in Balochistan. I hope we have got solid hopes. People are there, people of goodwill are there, people who believe in the goodness and you see, good of all. In our region, there are beliefs in our own region who have those values as part of their religious outlook. I hope of Buddhism, Jainism, the Hinduism, these are all very peaceful world outlooks. They have got millions of followers. We are appealing to their followers to please come to us. We are appealing to the good Muslim who don't believe in the jihad of Pakistan army to stand with us, not to look the other way when these jihadis kill us like they are doing today. We are at the mercy of these very ruthless jihadis, and it is the global, it is the responsibility of the world under the new norms of international law, which is called responsibility to protect. So under the clause of the responsibility to protect, it is now the duty of all the global community to come to our rescue. I think we people in US, we must make a promise to the people of Balochistan that we are going to cut off any kind of money that goes from Washington D.C., whether it be the U.S. government, whether it be the International Monetary Fund, whether it be the World Bank. We are going to promise the people of Balochistan that will do our utmost to get these monies cut off from the hands of the Pakistani generals. And then we are going to see how these generals are going to do what they are doing right now. So they should better come to their senses. They should stop doing what they are doing. This is an age of Twitter. This is an age of Facebook. Everything that they do gets online within seconds. So they shouldn't think that what they are doing, no one will know about it. In spite of their media censorship, in spite of the fact that the Pakistani media is playing second fiddle to the Pakistan Army GHQ and the ISI headquarters in Appara. In spite of that total blackout on Balochistan, the world is going to get out of Balochistan. We are here in the US. We are going to try to tell to the world, to the best of our ability, what is happening in Balochistan. And I hope the world will come to our rescue. I appreciate the people who take an interest in Balochistan, and I'm very confident with their help and support, we are going to overcome the challenges that our people are facing.
Amarji, can you just put a little light on the current abduction of Dr. Allah Nazar's wife and his daughter? Like, what is the intention of Pakistani army behind this recent abduction of women and children? What is their intention? The immediate intention, what they want to achieve from this? I guess Margie is off. All right, so Krishna is here.
Yeah, we have
I see
Mohinder ji.
Mohinder. I see Mohinder Gulati ji. Mohinder Gulati, do you hear me?
Yes, I do hear you. I joined you pretty late. I couldn't connect earlier.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being here. So, you heard about the latest news emerged from Balochistan that Pakistani military have abducted few women and children from Balochistan.
Yeah,
And
I'd been following up, and I'd been following that news from other sources as well.
yeah, so do you want to put any light on it?
No, I mean, I just heard Amar ji, and I had a discussion with him earlier as well.
Hmm.
This is something which is absolutely urgent, and therefore something needs to go out from AFB on this issue. But there's also the medium question, which Amar ji just pointed out, about putting pressure through the different channels like the World Bank and IMF, and there is this ongoing financial relationship. And I think very soon they would be coming back to the World Bank and IMF and other multilateral agencies for financing, because they are going to come under tremendous budgetary pressure very soon.
Nice.
And therefore, we need to get prepared for that well in advance with some analysis. It's one thing to write a letter to all these people, it's quite another when you prepare a cogent, well argued case and demonstrate the strength of your argument. And that is something one has to prepare well in advance. And some amount of work has to be done has to be gone into to prepare that case. So I think it's now we are reaching a stage where it is important to be a little more strategic and see what the pressure points can be and what kind of preparation is needed for those pressure points. But we also need to start putting a lot more information on the website, which is very, very perfunctory at this stage. And there's not that much and enough information, and it has to become a more vibrant platform for providing information to people who are not directly connected but are otherwise interested, so that we can start enlarging the circle of sympathizers and our friends, but also those to whom we approach. They should be able to get that kind of information from the website.
Exactly. Yeah, that's very important and very immediately needed. So yeah, definitely we will be working on it on the website.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Otherwise, it's all just information circulating between a very few people who are connected through WhatsApp or through WhatsApp group or through Twitter. So it's a very small group of people who are
Right.
discussing this. This needs to be
Yes.
much more available on a
Do you,
platform, much more to the public, and hundreds of thousands of sympathizers around who
yes.
are looking for that information and they don't have any source.
Gulati ji, do you know we have a website, AmericanFriendofBalochistan.com,
Yes,
which is up there.
I do.
Yes. So yes, at that website we will be keeping update on daily basis Yes. So, and we gotta change the whole platform, make it very professional. You know that
Ye-
could be easy for people to find the relevant data on it. Right now, it's a little complicated, so we will be working very soon on the
Yeah,
website. And
yeah.
thank you very much for the suggestion. Yeah. All right. So I don't see any other friends. Like Habiba is not here. Krishna is here.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Inayat, you want to speak anything?
Inayat,
Or
do you want to?
Ahmad, you want to speak anything on the IMF and the World Bank funds that Pakistan is always trying to get, and
And
how this violation of the Geneva Conventions of war, even though there is no war, it's even more grosser that mm, without the even during the civilian period, they are abducting innocent women and kids and babies uh, to intimidate people. Pakistan is doing a very wrong thing. So, Ahmerji, could you uh, elaborate more on how the World Bank and IMF and the financiers could restrict Pakistan and further, tighten the screws? Can you hear us, Ahmed? We can't hear you.
yes, we do. Yes, yes, we do.
Okay, okay. So, since the World Bank and the IMF are Western institutions and they are bound by all the protocols that guide Western loan giving, and clauses which are already in place, we are not asking for any favors. They have certain strict rules, regulations, stipulations. I am pretty sure, which deals with situations that we are seeing in Balochistan. So when the regimes, when states, when governments don't follow those stipulations and those procedures, then the World Bank and the IMF and their board of directors are duty bound to reject any request for assistance in the budgetary fields, as much as my knowledge is concerned. And under those, as you can see, what is happening in Balochistan. So these institutions, when Pakistan goes to seek loan from them for whatever reason, saying that we have such and such problems, and I mean our macroeconomy and all that other stuff, they're very good at. You see, they are very sharp tongued, and they are very deceptive, and they can bring in so many stories to tell the Westerners. The Westerner in a billion years will not understand these Pakistanis, how they are good at deceiving people. So, but we can tell the West and these institutions, the World Bank, IMF, what Pakistan is doing. Are you going to bail out this kind of a state, to allow it, to give it a free rein, to pull the triggers on Baloch women and Baloch babies who are younger than 4 years, 4 year old, and these minor children. I mean, there is a limit to everything. They are doing these things worse than the Burmese military treatment of Rohingya. Worse than, I can assure you, 100 times worse than what the Burmese military have can ever think about doing to the Rohingyas. These guys are so deceptive, so sharp, and I'm concerned that the outcry, the public outcry, is not as big as what we saw in the case of Rohingyas. And also,
Honestly,
other than just add one more thing. The other thing I would like to say is this Patrick Leahy amendment. You see, we in the United States, we have to please all be alert to this law, which exists in the U.S. statutes, and that is if institution like the Pakistan Army,
Right.
the southern command of the Pakistan Army, which is controlling Balochistan, and which has been entrusted to make the CPEC a success in Balochistan. It's called the Southern Command of the Pakistan Army. One it is that is violating the human rights, left, right, and center. The inter-services intelligence, the military intelligence, and the frontier corps, and there are other smaller agencies also. But these are the four big agencies which are committing crimes
Well,
against the Baloch people, and they don't deserve to be on the. They don't, you see, deserve to be doing business with the United States in any form, shape, or manner. The
and
amendment says.
and
Yeah,
as you mentioned, there
Amarji,
is a law to prohibit
Um,
any
I'm
foreign
sorry.
aid to a country.
Yeah.
Amarji, as you mentioned, there is a law in United States which prohibits any international support of foreign aid to a country which is involved in war crimes, committed, you know, human rights violations.
Amarji, I think we have to be a little more more focused and better targeted.
Yes,
Right.
please.
Because what happens is that uh, the different institutions have different mandates.
Okay.
If it's a human rights violation, then
Oh.
the right agency to appeal to is the UN, where they have a special interlocutor on human rights. The World Bank will take that on record. The World Bank and IMF will take it on record, but that is not a very strong case. That does influence. That, of course, affects the opinion of the people. They will criticize, but that's not a very strong argument in case of the World Bank because the country can present its case and say what you are looking at as human rights violation. These are the more complex issues of terrorism, this, that, and the World Bank and IMF do not have any wherewithal or knowledge or competence to assess whether what is being presented by the country in response to the complaint that you might send, whether that response is adequate or not. They don't have the competence. So the what would be a more targeted complaint to these two would be the diversion of the resources that they would provide, diversion or misuse of those resources for military purposes, which is causing human rights violation.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
therefore, one has to build a very clear, specific case and show how and why the internal rules of these organizations or they have these articles and they have their internal guidelines as to which of those is violated, and we have to
Yeah.
demonstrate that this is violated.
Yes. Thank you.
So we have to be specific. If it's a very
Okay.
general complaint, yes, they will look at it. There will be some discussion. They will ask the country. They will do a presentation. They will do something, but then they will just put it on record that they have heard that, and they'll move on.
Yeah.
So therefore, for the EDs also, the appeal from FB has to be much more specific and better targeted and very well argued as to how and why the EDs should not support it because it is violating the internal guidelines and procedures and rules and requirements and criteria of those institutions.
Okay. Great. So you say what we can do is we can bring the hard facts on the ground that is happening. You can please guide us on how to draft it and whom to send it to. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure with your experience that will work.
yeah. But at the same time, in the
Thank you.
near term, in the very quickly,
Yeah.
this has to go to the rapporteur. There is a rapporteur of human rights.
Yeah.
So therefore, it should go to
Yes.
the rapporteur of human rights. But then
Yeah.
obviously,
Great.
you also have to demonstrate that you have a locus standi to complain, which of course you
Yeah.
have. I mean, that's
Yeah.
not an issue. But nevertheless, you'll have to
Yeah.
demonstrate that you're Balochistan to
Yeah.
complain. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We can. So the repertoires. There will be repertoires on. See, a number
There is
of
a rapporteur
repertoires.
on rights.
Yeah.
There, in the
Yeah.
UN system, there is a rapporteur on human rights.
Yeah, yeah. There are
Yeah,
also different ones. You see,
yeah,
there are rapporteurs on media freedoms, and there are
correct,
rapporteurs on women's right and
correct.
children's right also. So we
That
had in the past met with the those rapporteurs who were dealing with enforced disappearances. We
correct.
had met with them. Yeah. So these ones we are going to, of course, we
And
have to
so we have to
pursue them.
present, we have to prepare and present a case to the rapporteur. And it is if one can mobilize more than one organization, if there are other organizations, if they
Yeah.
can all join in signing that complaint to the rapporteur, that will add much more weight.
Yeah, and it is, you see, strange because in Pakistan there are so many different forms of Baloch is one big issue, but other than Baloch, there is a daily violation of Hindu rights. There is a daily violation of Christian rights. Christian and Hindu girls are being abducted on a daily basis. They are being forcibly converted. They are being forcibly married off. This is a rape under the name of conversion. And there is, you see, the issue of enforced disappearances that is also happening in a big number now. Our Sindhi brothers are now the latest sufferers of this terrible policy of enforced disappearances, and so are the Mohajir people in Karachi.
Yeah,
They
but you can
are, you see, in
rapporteur, you
yeah,
can go
these
to
are
the
all
you can go to the rapporteur
yeah,
on a complaint against the state. If there is something between individuals and the country is not enforcing its laws, that is a different issue. But if it is versus the state, if you say that the state
yeah,
has done this, state is responsible, then the rapporteur has a
yeah.
responsibility against the member state, member country.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, this is the state that in Pakistan, the state is run by the ISI and the men in uniform. That they are the for you see main players in the state of Pakistan.
Which is a very different argument. That's a very different argument, and the
Hmm.
rapporteurs. I mean, it's good. It's better to keep to give the rapporteurs something very clear on which they have jurisdiction.
Yeah, like what should we cite, Mr. Gulati?
Yeah, that
We
is
are
the violations by the state, the disappearance
by
of
the state. Okay.
women and children,
Yeah.
abduction bar
Okay.
or kidnapping or arrest by the army. The
Yeah.
disappearance of these is that can be very easily made out as a case against the state
Okay.
and the state
Okay.
agencies. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to add that American Friends of Balochistan, headquartered in Washington, D.C., we will be recording all the human rights abuses which Pakistan gives us so much chances to record them, and they'll be presented on the website. So if any Baloch out there anything to report, use the Twitter handles AFB underscore USA, AFB underscore USA, to report all your any human rights issues, abductions and disappearances, rape, killings, gunship based killings, you name it. I could never think all these kinds of abuses could happen, but Pakistan has created all these things. They were the nation itself. The concept of the Pakistan itself was created just to make this happen. So please report all these atrocities. We will be recording and sending it to appropriate human rights organizations as well as authorities in the United States and United Nations.
Mhm.
All right.
So I have one question to Ahmad Najib or anyone. One of the biggest things we have in terms of the funds or even the way it is using the even United States faces this biggest issue wherein America, I mean, requests all kinds of documents as to where the funds have been utilized and to what. However, Pakistan never gives them proper documentation, or everything is cooked up the way it is done, or they give any kind of reasons to say that they don't have. And this is the biggest issue, and this is a clear violation, and saying that I know we don't care, and but we will ask you for the money, and we will use it wherever we want. And when you look from the high level, US and other nations, including China now, are inputting all kinds of money and investment into Pakistan. But the only result that is coming out, that we see in international media and everywhere, is terrorism and killings and bombings, especially of children. This is preposterous. This is not deserving of any nation. It doesn't show a strong nation. Shows a very, very weak nation. So my question to the team is, how can we ensure that all these funds are properly accounted for, and if not, we ask all our governments, United States, Europe, China also, I appeal to the Chinese citizens also, that these funds are not used for the rapes and enforced disappearances and terrorists' creations.
Yeah, I will. You see, Krishna ji, I will specifically request China. China is now a big problem because of China, Pakistan is doing what it is doing now. Because after 9/11, the US has got a sense of it's not wise to dance with the devil. There is a growing sense in the US. The President of the United States had already tweeted about Pakistan. It's very unfortunate in the last month. He did tweet some, I mean, this month, not last month. This month, he did tweet something positive about Pakistan, which was, I think, more of a diplomatic way because he knows, President Trump knows very, very well what Pakistan is all about. This was, he understands Pakistan, and that is why he has selected a very a better Afghan policy in which he had very outrightly told Pakistan, the first U.S. president, to tell Pakistan that you have to shut down your terrorist nurseries. This was our demand for a long time. When Sri Narendra Modi was meeting Donald Trump, on that day, we were demanding this thing that the US and should India had already said about Pakistan what it is, because India is suffering at the hands of Pakistan. But then the United States government, President Trump, came and spoke out about Pakistan, that they should shut down their terrorist nurseries. But how can Pakistan shut down its terrorist nurseries? What I was saying yesterday, when the Pakistani generals think that the US troops who are based in Afghanistan are chocolate boys who can be defeated by the Taliban. So when you have this kind of a mindset in the Rawalpindi GHQ, you can imagine no good is going to come. The same they think about, you see, India, that how can these Baniyas defeat us? This is their thinking. And so they don't want the people in Kashmir to live in peace. They are claiming that Kashmir belongs to Pakistan. It's almost like the same way an orphan would say that his neighbor's father is his father. How can Kashmir belong to Pakistan? You see, this are all nonsensical state things. Now, for the US, it is very important, especially for the Pentagon. They had armed Pakistan. Pakistan would not have survived so long had it not been for the support it received from the United States. And one of the main areas of support was military support. We are thankful that that is now slowing down. We hope that it will come to a grinding halt I can assure you, the Baloch people can democratically and politically face the Pakistan military establishment if they are not armed, especially the United States. So the one main thing that is there for the US to ponder is the end use of weapons. The end use of weapons is an important clause in the U.S. Defense policy, you see, making. And when they gave arms to Pakistan, they have to ensure that the U.S. is giving arms to Pakistan to fight the Taliban or Al Qaeda, and it is all kind of a big scandal. Because how can Pakistan, the state of Pakistan, that nurtures all these people, how can they fight them? It's you see, it's I don't know.
Okay.
So,
See, I need to get off the phone.
yes, Mr. Gulati, thank you so very much for your time and your engagement. We will really appreciate your inputs in whatever we do.
Yeah. No, no, I would get in touch with you offline. Okay.
Okay,
All
thank you,
right.
sir.
Thank you very much. Nice talking to all of you, friends.
Thank you, Mohinderji.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. So, Krishna ji, I'm also going right, and I don't know uh,
Yeah,
what your plans are. I think
yeah.
we have
So
talked a
Habiba
lot.
may be joining in. Habiba not joining. So hold on a second. So as you see, the latest, um, the new senators urged Trump to blacklist Pakistan for religious freedom abuses, and this is so true. Since the time of inception of Pakistan, uh, there have been a lot of atrocities on the minorities and everyone. They, it's the number of Hindus in Pakistan reduced from 5% to almost 2%, and is even going down low.
No, no, it used to be 15, Krishna ji.
15, sorry, 15,
Ah, 15,
15% to,
15. Ah.
and going down to 2% and even going low now, and all of them
Hmm.
are going helter skelter to all countries away from Pakistan. This is exactly what the original conceptures of the Pakistan wanted, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, uh, the regular people of Pakistan are not able to uh, fight against this because there is no democratic process wherein they can be part of it and express their voice against this and influence this, because whenever they try to do that, they are suppressed, uh, uh, not by not disallowing them as some countries would do, but by use of extreme heavy military force. Yes, people, folks, military force to suppress their voices. I mean, I may be looking, sounding, crazy by saying this, but that is true. Initially, when I was being told about this, I never believed this. But as I researched more, it's being done by military to suppress those voices.
Yeah.
What Pakistan doesn't know is that this kind of suppression itself will lead to their own suppression. I I can only say in the nicest words there. So it's for the people of Pakistan to rise up against your own army and your own ISI, which thinks that this is just a game. Well, in one of the speeches of one of the ISI's top persons, I not the name names, but I think you know, he said all these is a game for him. I'm sorry, I don't know how a top intelligence would say it's a game for them, where when the people of Pakistan are suffering, when so many people and so many kids were killed in the bomb blasts. Uh, so I don't think it is a game. The intelligence agencies are supposed to protect the nation and ensure the civilian government makes the people develop, be successful and happy, but this is not happening. So I urge the people of Pakistan to rise up and voice against uh, this extreme heavy military force to suppress your voices and protect your nation that has been created uh, with or without your will. So I don't know about that. So the senators of US, which have been supporting Pakistan for a long time, and now urging the president to blacklist Pakistan for religious freedom abuses, and none of them support Pakistan anymore. And I'm sorry to say, I don't think even the Pakistan military, which is controlling the government, is also able to get off of this. So, and on one of this news, I see that with a deadline approaching for the administration to notify Congress which countries will be blacklisted for religious freedom violations. Pakistan is one of them, is the biggest of them. They're clear on this. It's purely, it's simply based on the numbers of the amnesty-based people who have to come out of Pakistan for this. Republican Senators Marco Rubio, Todd Young, James Lankford, Democratic Senator Chris Coons, Jeff Merkley, Bob Menendez urged Rex Tillerson to use all the tools at his disposal to help ensure freedom of religion and belief is central in US foreign policy. So, just a fortnight ago, a court in Punjab province handed down the death penalty to three people convicted of blasphemy. Three Ahmadis who were convicted of blasphemy. So even the court justice is manipulated by use of force to cover up all these unconscionable religious acts. Even Saudi Arabia, which is the protector of Islam, is giving freedom to their women and starting up to open up, realizing that it's better to allow everyone. Even Saudi Arabia is doing that, but Pakistan, in its own army-based control and trying to protect every small detail, including the justice and even the civilian leadership, is slowly losing the game.
Yes.
Which one of the ISI himself says, the game. I don't know how running a nation can be a game. It is not a game.
You
It's
see
people's lives and happiness.
I'm sorry, yeah, Krishna ji, this guy, who was previously the chief of the Rangers in Sindh. I'm forgetting the name. Najib, what was his name? The recent one, ISI chief,
Najib
was
stepped out.
involved in gross. Huh?
Najib stepped out.
He stepped out. Okay, there is a guy. Do you remember Inayatullah? What was his name?
No, I think it's just me and you right now.
Is it? Then then there was this. Okay. Then where Habiba didn't join. Okay, so this ISI chief.
Oh, Najib just joined.
Who's this?
Yeah, sorry. Sorry,
it's all right.
My phone was off, so I came back.
That's all right. Najib was the ISI chief who was charged with stealing $300 million. The chief of ISI, the previous one.
That was his name was what was his name? Pasha, General Pasha.
No, the one after Pasha. You see the recent one. It's the name. I'm so bad with the names. He was, but anyways, the previous one, not the present one, but the one who was you see just resigned earlier this month. He had to step down from one of his military positions. He was the ISI chief.
The new guy. He used to be corps commander after that.
What is his name? Do you remember?
Yeah, he just they showed him as resigned, but I guess they fired him.
Yeah. Yeah, but what was his name, Najib? He had,
I'm I'm I'm
anyways.
searching for him. I'm searching.
uh, So
Y-
this
Go
guy,
ahead,
this
Aparjit.
general,
Lieutenant
this
General.
general,
He was Lieutenant
yeah,
General.
yeah, Lieutenant General.
Yeah,
He named.
I think that gentleman knows who you are referring to. Whoever is the gentleman will know.
No, but you see, I'm so bad with names. And
Yeah.
the thing is, he had stolen $300 million. Can you imagine?
Yes.
$300 million. He and his brother, they had stolen. This guy has never been court-martialed. He had never been asked to come before any court of law. And the poor Prime Minister of Pakistan, the
His
previous
name
one,
was Rizwan Akhtar. Lieutenant General Rizwan Akhtar.
Rizwan Akhtar,
Yes.
Lieutenant General Rizwan Akhtar.
Hmm.
So he had stolen $300 million from the public exchequer of Pakistan. Now,
Wow.
when you steal $300 million from a poor country like Pakistan, so I'm sorry to use that word that many Americans use for Pakistan, which is cluster Pakistan. So when you do such things, the ISI itself has made CF that I just referred to, and you see what happens is poor Nawaz Sharif, he was charged with getting $10,000 from, was it dollars or dirhams? Maybe dirhams. 10,000 dirhams from a company in Dubai where he was registered as working for that company, and that he had not revealed it to the authorities, and he was fired because of that. Pakistan is fired for not revealing that he was getting 10,000 dirhams from a company in Dubai. But this guy, the ISI chief, who had stolen $300 million, nobody is asking him because he is a sacred cow. He cannot be touched. He is because he is a general and he was the chief of the ISI. So with such a nonsense in a country, how can that country have a future? This is that they should ask themselves, the rulers in Punjab, if they are going to do it to themselves. Yeah, and you see, I'm very surprised. You talked about blasphemy. These Punjabi Muslims, they don't consider the Punjabi Hindus, the Punjabi Sikhs, and the Punjabi Ahmadis as their own blood and bone. And then they want to come and rule over Balochistan. They want to rule over Afghanistan, and they want to take over Kashmir, and they want to, you see, deprive the Muhajirs of Karachi the right to have their own leaders. Are being treated like dirt in Sindh, and the way they are projecting the Pashtuns of Pakistan as if they were some lower animals who were just Taliban, who were just jihadis. You see, this is a crooked system which is called the state of Pakistan. Call it the leptocracy, which means a state that is run on lies. I don't know whether what positive thing I can say about Pakistan, other than the 80% of the innocent people of Pakistan system.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have done my talking, brothers.
Yeah. So,
I have done my talking.
Amarji,
Thank you so
so
much.
Najib,
Yeah.
can you describe like what's going on with the women and kids? Uh, why do you think you have been on the field? You have been affected by the ISI. You've been shot by ISI,
Exactly.
and
Hmm.
yeah, say, by God's grace, after being shot and being treated, you came out and you're here to tell the story to the entire world.
Hmm.
Uh, ki- um, why is the ISI and the Pakistan Army focusing on these kids and women? Uh,
You know, as
are they not strong enough that they have to focus on the women and kids? it shows a very very weak position. Can you tell and all? Can you tell us a little bit more on that? What are your insights?
As I mentioned in the beginning, that Pakistani army is doing everything in the country, every job except their own job, which is defense. So they are involved in all kind of businesses, from real estate to manufacturing, from manufacturing to farming, everything. Like, they do businesses. That's the only country in the world, I guess, who run commercial businesses. So kidnapping women and children is a very soft target for them. It's very easy for them because they cannot go deep inside Balochistan. As they have made, like, the Baloch freedom fighters have made many of the Balochistan areas, no go areas for Pakistani military. Though they have very limited resources, fighting with so-called world most powerful army, but they have made literally many areas as no-go areas for Pakistan army. So what they can do, they can go behind those innocent kids and women, which is a kind of very soft and easy target for them. That's what they've been doing. They do blackmailing from beginning. What they have done in Bangladesh. So they're just repeating the history of Bangladesh and Balochistan. They 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 tortured women and children in Bangladesh. They raped hundreds of thousands of their own civilians, their own civilian women. So that they have a history of doing such
So this
coward
looks like
things.
in normally in the Western world and everywhere, even in India,
Mhm.
once bitten, twice shy should have been like that. But they don't seem to have learned a lesson after Bangladesh has been disconnected from them, and they seem to showing their forces everywhere.
Look,
Um,
look,
and
Krishna,
right
there is
now
a problem. There is a very serious problem in
so
Pakistan.
when I say Pakistan, I specifically talking about the army, the ISI, and then the terrorist proxies.
Exactly, and that exactly what Pakistan is. You described very well. Pakistan means the Pakistani army. The rest of the civilians have no voice. They have no ear. They can't listen what they want to listen. They can only listen what is being, they ask for to listen. Because in Pakistan there is no media. Everything is literally controlled by the GHQ. So that's what I was trying to say. Like, this is the problem of Pakistan, that everything is censored, everything is controlled. People can only listen to, can only watch to what they are supposed to, what they are being told to. So the general public in Pakistan, they don't understand the exact dynamics. I mean, a lot of the general public, there are people who really understand what Pakistani army has been doing, but the people, the general public, they don't understand. Like, Pakistan has lost all of their wars. They have, every time they have infiltrated in Indian territories, they have violated the treaties. Then they have shamefully, retreated. They have defeated all the wars. So, but in their narratives, in their version of those history, that they have won all the wars from India. And even they teach the history in Pakistani schools to their pupil, that they have won the war of 71, which is like very obvious. They have lost half of the country, and
Mm-hmm.
still they own the 71 war. I mean, this country has the army literally have no shame. So, but what Amar has explained in the beginning, that was very interesting. He raised the point that Pakistani army is have given safe havens to all international terrorists. I myself is the eyewitness of those militant camps, those trainings camps. They are widely spread in the Pashtun belt, I would say, of Balochistan, which is bordering the all over Afghanistan. So they have camps I have seen by my own eyes. I'm the witness of those camps. They provide one motorbike to each and every Talib, which the terrorists which go and fight in Afghanistan, the who fights the NATO forces and American soldiers who are involved in killing those 2,400 US troops. So these people, they are living in Kuchlag. They're very openly living. They have masks, then they collect charities in those masks in every Friday prayers. It's not something hidden from public. Everybody, see them, and though they're living in a major camp. There's a camp close to in Kalabdullah. That camp they call it jungle camp, the Afghan refugee camps, which is now a sanctuary of the entire terrorists which who operates in the Kandahar and Yemen part of the country.
And you have
So
seen this in person. I mean, you have seen this with your own
yes,
eyes.
exactly. I'm being witness from them, and I even have seen the mask which the current Taliban leaders who owns that mask, who used to operate that mask, and that guy is now the head of Taliban. So that guy been teaching in that mosque for years and years under the supervision of ISI. So that's nothing. That's not something hidden from any of us.
It's very funny because you know, people like Hafiz Said, who are the US and UN designated terrorists, uh,
Mhm.
they have a camouflage of philanthropic work,
Mhm.
at the same time speaking openly that they're gonna do this, do that to against us, other nations,
Mhm.
and now they're doing political parties at the
Hafiz
same
Said
time,
is
and they are also doing this terrorist camps and all. They say, which they say they don't have, but they're clearly there,
sir. Hafiz
and
Said is
everyone
the de
knows.
facto prime minister of Pakistan. What are you saying? He actually operate Pakistan. Hafiz Said and all these fanatics, they literally run Pakistan. And yeah,
So what do you mean by that, Najib? Isn't the government there? Isn't the army there? I thought everyone listens to the army and the ISI.
oh
How
yeah,
about these guys
they,
who don't have any, who don't hold any official
okay.
positions,
Okay, so please
controlling the de
please
facto government?
don't confuse yourself between those fanatics like Hafiz Saeed and the guy who runs Jaish e Muhammad, as Azhar something. So these guys are actually ISI. They are on the payroll of ISI, and they're like not just the proxies of ISI. They themselves are ISI officers. So, and they are the de facto ruler of the country. So that's what we have to understand. We have to look into this. And the only thing they can run the country and they can control those different part of the country who has problem with Punjab, who has problem with Pakistan. The only thing they can rule, that is the fascist and those hardcore jihadist Islamic narrative which Pakistan I mean ISI is trying to interpret. And the exact same thing they are now doing in Balochistan. So if you think they have a group which they call it Tablighi organization, which they operate from Punjab, the Rawand, which is the house of the current, the former Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. So he lives there in the Rawand. The Rawand, they have a Tablighi organization where they gather like millions of those Islamic recruits where they speech to them, like the hardcore, the Wahabi version of Islam, and they send them to every corner of the country and as well as to the international Islamic world. So that's very dangerous thing which is being ignored from all over the world. They think that they're just like ordinary preachers, but that's the first step of recruiter those fanatics, those extremists, and then they send it to, now they're focusing to send a lot of those Tablighi organizations, those Tablighi guys to Balochistan. So what they're going to do, they're trying to convert their ordinary Baloch to encounter this nationalist version, the nationalism of Baloch into this extremist Islamic approach. So they're converting this whole new generation into this version, this narrative of Islam. And then once they are, you know, converted to Tablighi version of Islam, then they could be very easily recruited into those terrorist organizations, because they are mentally prepared for jihad, for Jannah, for heaven, where they're mentally prepared for those 72 virgins. They're ready to die, they're ready to kill. So all those things are, you know, very systematically going on into Pakistan.
So we in the West, we hear all these things,
Mhm.
uh, um, but how do we know that it is a difference between propaganda versus reality? And I know you have come and you have seen. You're saying,
Mhm.
um, so. How can the West know about this more?
Like as I said, like, you know, there are very different layers of those Islamic extremism and what you call it, those terrorism. So they first prepare the ground, then they send another organization which is little, you know, harsher in their version. Then they recruit the guys from that, which had been already prepared for that. So what West is not understanding about Pakistan, Pakistan has a very dual face. At one side, to show to the West, they show they're democratic, which is not at all. You know, they can send their prime minister within hours to home. You know, the publicly elected prime ministers. No one in history has completed his 5-year term. So that's the history. On one side, they have democracy, they have secular, journals which drink whiskey, and but deep down they're all very hardcore fascist. And that's the only thing with that's the only fundament with the fundamental philosophy which Pakistan is based on, the hardcore Islamic version, which can only confine the the nationhood of Pakistan, because there is
So, so
no there is
my
no
question,
yes.
Najib, now that you have seen that on the
Mhm.
ground, and how these layers of radical and fascism and going up to the chain, and with the cover of the democracy and all, even though they are actually controlled by the radicalism, fascism there,
Right.
that you have seen in person in Pakistan,
Mhm.
and also facing the bullet from them. And now
Exactly.
that you're here in the West, and you know how the Western mind thinks,
Mhm.
um, how can the Western mind understand, uh, because the Western mind only sees from a very top level point of view,
Mhm.
uh, that the radical fascist people are the ones who are going and blowing them up, but these be wearing suits and coming and doing lobbying, are other nicer kind of people who are willing to work with with US. How can we help the Western people, the citizens, understand this deep level of thing, which is different from how what they have seen in their and being projected in their media, so that they can urge their senators and all to uh, put the
I would say
proper
there
kind
is
of
no need
pressure or
to.
disconnect.
I mean, there is no doubt left that how coward Pakistan is. It's a devil. Everybody know that they have ousted Osama bin Laden right in their capital. In not only capital, in the military camp, which is the most secured uh, area Pakistan. The Kabul Military Academy is there, where every military soldiers pass out from there. So that's one of the don't take we should not take it very light, because Kabul and the Abbottabad is the most secure areas in Pakistan. Osama bin Laden hid there for 7 years. uh, they have all kind of international terrorists which is still openly allowed to speak to the public. They are running organization, not only terrorist organization, but political organization as well, as you mentioned, Hafiz Saeed. And Mullah Umar was died in a hospital in Pakistan, was getting treatment from one of the Pakistani hospital, and one of very prestigious, very important hospital, which is not just like an ordinary hospital, which is an elite hospital. So there, I mean, the international world, I it's very hard for us to explain the real face to them. But yes, now they are understanding the dual standard of Pakistan. So it's very simple. In other words, if international world asks them to shut down all those sanctuaries, all those safe havens they have provided uh, to the terrorist, and of course Pakistan cannot do that because Pakistan itself is run by those international terrorist organizations. So if we, the Americans and all other international world, you know put the exact pressure on Pakistan to shut down all those terrorist heavens, then we would know, like, they can't do that because Pakistan cannot do that. Pakistani military cannot do that because Pakistani military is under the ISI, and ISI is all those guys, those Hafiz Saeed type of guys.
Yeah.
And that's the only way. We have to put a line that this is where you have to stand, or either this way. If they are standing with the international terrorists, everybody would know. There should be very tough deadline to them, because the more we give them more space, they come up with a new excuse. Like right now, we had their foreign minister. He said, like, terrorism is a problem for us as well. We're suffering from them, from these terrorists as well. No, this is a white lie. They're lying to the world. That's exactly lie. Their prime minister, as I said, itself is Hafiz Saeed, is ISI, is GHQ. Prime ministers in the parliaments, they can't do anything. In Pakistan, their foreign policy is made in GHQ, and that thing has been challenged by many their parliamentarians. There are speeches on the record. They say no member of the parliament know where our foreign policy comes from. They are not allowed to speak on media. They are not allowed to speak on current affairs. So in Pakistan, if you don't discuss foreign policy, if you don't discuss your interior policy, if you don't discuss the current affairs, if you don't discuss the freedom of speech, then you're all set. And the
Yeah.
day you question these things, you'll be either kidnapped, you'll be missing, or you'll be killed.
Yeah, that's very sad. And um,
So the very important part to the international world, which they have to make it quick to jump into the Balochistan issue, because Baloch people are the least radicalized so far, and which has been going. I mean, the Pakistani ISI has put all their machinery into action to bring the Baloch youth into radicalized narrative of the Islam. So Baloch is generally very secular. They don't ever follow this hardcore Wahhabi narrative of Islam. They are Muslims. They're very liberal and secular Muslims. So now this belt, this part of Pakistan, which is Balochistan, which is almost 44% of Pakistan, is almost half of the Pakistan, which is not radicalized. So what Pakistan is doing to do, they have been radicalizing this part of the country. So what international community has to do, at least they have to protect this 44% of Balochistan for being radicalized.
that's a great statement you made, Najib. Since also considering the fact that you're coming from that area, and after talking to a lot of Baloch leaders and local Baloch here also in US, I see they are very respective and very free with all kinds of religions, just like Thomas Jefferson, who is the founding father of United States Constitution of the United
Yes.
States of
Mhm.
America, has envisioned how the religious freedom should be there. All the Baloch leaders have spoken. In one of my interviews with Mehran Murray and Nawab Akbar Bukti during AFB event, both have equally supported as and also expressed how they protected the Hindus in
Yeah, that's
Balochistan
very interesting.
when Pakistan has been doing raids and all. If it were Pakistan
Let, let me
ideological people, they wouldn't have done that. They would have first killed the Hindus.
exactly.
And
Let me tell you one very interesting thing about the Hinglaj Mata, which is a Hindu temple in Balochistan. The local Baloch, which are Muslims, basically, they also go for the pilgrim of this mandir, and they call it Bibi Nani pilgrim or Bibi Nani ka Hajj.
yes,
So the
yes,
local people, they still practice those Hindu rituals which they inherited from their ancestors. So that, as I said, they're very liberal in religion. So they respect all religions. And if you know that Akbar Bukti has protected a lot of Hindus from those Pakistani armies and those those fanatics which they have there. So in when they attacked the Bukti house and the Bukti family, they were like around 24, 25 Hindu which were killed in that attack, which were living right in the Akbar Bukti's house.
uh, yeah. So see, this is the kind of leadership, new age, modern leadership that is needed for global stability and peace, in especially in the wake of radical, terrorist attacks all over the world. In fact, today it has happened in New York, wherein the terror attacker was shouting Allahu Akbar
Yes,
and killed many people, and it is happening as we speak now. It's so sad in New York already, and and when you're saying this, and initially I felt sad. What will be the state of Pakistan? But
I
now that when you say that, and reminded me, these free Baloch leaders who have respect for all the religions and allow everyone to live happily, and also with access to the biggest Baloch land resources, should be supported by the international community. This kind of force needs to be protected so that there is more good and stability in that region, and more especially in the global world also. And
absolutely.
the kind of ideology that Pakistan has from the very get-go of the initiation of the country, and even until now, they are so tied up with the radical Islamic ideology that they can't get out of it. It looks like they can't get out of it. Even the people of Pakistan, when they raise their voices, they can't get out of it. I mean, I urge the people of Pakistan to raise against and say that, but I don't know.
Mm.
So only the international community can help support this secular. Uh, uh, Secular is a bad word in India, but I would say more respectful of all religions leaders to
Exactly.
so to help the free Balochistan, and also and that's the very reason it looks like, Najib, that Pakistan is afraid that these Baloch leaders are winning, and the free of religion, freedom of religion ideology is able to sprout, and so they have targeted the women and children
Exactly.
of
Let
these
me
leaders.
let me remind you one thing. In 1971, when Pakistani army realized that they cannot hold Bangladesh anymore, they they knew that Bangladesh is going to be free from their hands. So the day they realized that, they start raping Bangladeshi women, and they start kidnapping Bangladeshi women. The day they realize that Bangladesh will not be part of their country anymore. And exactly that's the approach today of the Pakistani journals. They know exactly that they cannot hold Balochistan any longer. Sooner or later, Balochistan will be independent country. They know deep down that. So that's why they are trying to get into the lowest of the low and do these coward things.
Mm. So, so I think we are seeing some reports now, Najib,
Hmm.
that the wife of Allah Nazar is
Yes.
back in the hospital or something like that. So it looks like thanks to all the activities that is happening all over
That's
the world.
very, yeah, that's a
Uh,
very pleasant moment, but that's not the
that's
whole
not.
moment. Yeah, the whole moment was absolutely not limited to only Dr. Alanazar's wife. There are thousands of Baloch activists which are still missing till date. So let's not forget that we have to be their voice as well, and the international community should react on every kind of human right abuses in Balochistan. Yeah, indeed, that's a very pleasant news that the wife, the missus of Dr. Al Nazar, has been released and she's in hospital. I hope this news is true. But exactly, that was a very backflash for from all over the world. They reacted, so Pakistan realized that that could be a very bad thing for them, and otherwise they could have kept it very secret. But unfortunately, they cannot keep it secret anything today in the world of this
Technology.
social media and the technology.
Yes, yes. I urge all the people uh, of Pakistan as well and Balochistan to raise up against this Islamic ideology
Hmm.
and save their own nation first of all. Uh,
Exactly.
and since the controlling authorities can't do themselves, and if the Pakistani people can do it, the international community will help. And
Yeah.
Pakistan has been saying they are victims of terrorism. So
Yes.
I urge all the international community to help
Yes.
and to help the leaders of Balochistan uh, who have a better secular protection
Yes.
and
Yeah,
a
but
prosperity
exactly.
focused uh,
Yes.
uh, to help them for a
Mm.
regional stability. And I hope and I pray to Inglaj Mata in the
Mm.
Hingol Park, which is the one of the 52 Shakti Peeths
Yes.
uh, in the Balochistan area. And
Mhm.
I pray to the Mata to give power, energy, and sustained force to all these people working towards the regional peace and
Mhm.
stability. Um,
Thank you.
that is my pray. So all the Baloch people, uh, continue your struggle. This is a challenge that Pakistan army has thrown upon you. Uh, all the international community is with you. We're all with you,
Thank you very much.
and we will be continuing our AFB hangout. In the next few days again, it will be announced again. So watch our American Friends of Balochistan.org and connect with us. Um, Jai Hind Raj Mata.
Jai English Mata. Jai Balochistan. Jai Hind. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.